In this video, I want to share 8 facts about the Amish that you might not know. The first question I'd like to answer for you is, what is Amish? What are the Amish? Why do they live the way that they do? And I wanted to explain to you that the Amish community is not a race. A lot of people think of Amish as a separate race of people. They're not. They're a group of people that actually share religious belief, and they have decided to live a certain way in the world. Their belief is that they want to live in the world, but not of the world. They really believe that the more that people get caught up in cultural things and in the world, it takes them further and further away from God. So their belief is that the closer they stay to nature, the simpler that their lifestyle is, the more that they'll be able to keep their faith. So in a nutshell, that's what it means to be Amish. Now, how did Amish people get here in America? They didn't come to America until the 1700s, when there was a lot of religious persecution going on in Europe. So they came to America to find farmland and to be able to live the way they wanted and not be persecuted for their beliefs. The Amish faith was actually created by Jacob Amon, and he created the faith. He broke away from other Protestant religions because he wanted to keep the people, like I said, they wanted to stay very simple in the way that they lived. And that happened in 1693. So it wasn't until the mid 1700s that they came to America. So where did they settle? They pretty much are settled in America as of today, mostly in Pennsylvania, Ohio, and Indiana. Over 50% of Amish people live in those 3 states. I happen to live in southern Ohio, and I have lots and lots of Amish families that live near us. In fact, my husband works for an Amish family, and I'll go into that in some of my videos. But here's a map to give you an idea of where they live here in America and how dispersed that they are. All right, now I want to share 8 different facts about the Amish that you might not know. 1, kids only go to school until 8th grade. They learn how to read, write, do arithmetic, and it's believed that they have enough of those skills to be able to function in the society where they will learn a trade, and they actually go to work and work full time by the time they're 14 years old. When they're 16, they get to experience life outside of the Amish. They basically get to leave their Amish family or their traditions and live among the English. So you might see kids at this age having barn dances. They might go out to the movies and ride cars and do all the things that we do as English. That's what they call us, English. And that child gets to decide, do I want to be baptized into the Amish community or do I want to leave? And this is when they have an opportunity to decide. So they really need to take this time they need to make the decision. So they get to experience both lifestyles and make a decision. From the information that I have found, over 90% decide to stay, and there's about 10% that decide to leave. Amish people speak 2 languages at least. They're usually bilingual. They speak English, obviously, and then they speak a Dutch or Lower German dialect amongst their own families. Now, what about their faith? While most of them are Christians, I have found that they celebrate the same traditions that a Christian faith family would. One of the things I found interesting is, but Christmas, even though they believe in Jesus Christ and the birth of Jesus, they don't celebrate until January 6th, which I thought was fitting to start this video today. But this is when they celebrate Epiphany. And Epiphany is when the 3 wise men went to visit Jesus and bring him the gifts. So today, January 6th, is when they decide to start celebrating Christmas. And we call that Old Christmas. Now, many people wonder, how do the Amish communicate? Do they use devices or not? Many Amish people are divided into different sects, S-E-C-T-S, and they have different rules according to their bishop. We have found that many of the Amish who are running businesses are now using cell phones. It's almost like you have to. If you're trying to run a business and you want to do business with the English, you have to have a cell phone. Some of them don't. Some of them still use like a little community phone. You might go to the general store and you might see a little phone booth out there where they share the phone. So when you call, you'll even get hit number 1 for the Millers, hit number 2 for Jacob, and they still share that old way of using the phone to communicate. But many of them we have found are using cell phones. Now, my husband actually worked for one contractor. He didn't want to answer the cell phone, or he would send a message and then wanted my husband to hit the message and send it. The company that he works for now, they operate their own cell phone. They have fax machines and things like that to run their business. What about transportation? Do Amish people drive? I have never met any Amish that do drive. It's a very, 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 very small percent if they do. Most of them still use horse and buggy, and we see them all the time where we live, riding their horse and buggy. But then you can get into different rules, what kind of horse and buggies that they use, and I'll go into detail in future videos. But they will accept rides from the English. So a lot of times in our community, you'll see vans pull up with Amish families, or couples, or just women shopping at the local Walmart and local Kroger, but they get a ride to get there. So it's kind of like people in our community become Amish Uber drivers, I guess you could call it. They're not Uber, but they do provide taxi services for the Amish. So it's a great way for some English people to make money transporting the Amish to their different places. So let's talk about a typical family. How many children do Amish typically have? A typical family will have 7 to 8 children. They believe in procreation, and they have lots of children that they want to raise in the faith and raise to be followers of Christ. And my last but not least is number 8. Do they own their own businesses? Yes, they usually own their own businesses. And again, I will go into lots of detail on my channel about all the different types of businesses, especially here in Southern Ohio in my community. One of the interesting facts, though, they will hire English to help to work for them, as my husband works for a feed mill, and I'll go into detail and take you on a tour of that. But an English person cannot go in business with an Amish. So like if you wanted to go in business with the Amish and say, hey, let's start a business together, they cannot do that. And they cannot work for the English, but you can work for them. So that's interesting there. All right, those are some facts about the Amish. I hope you found it interesting. Let me know in the comments below, what kinds of questions would you like answered about the Amish? I'm excited to bring this information to you. So any questions that you have, please put them in the comments below, and I'll definitely do some research. Sometimes have actual live interviews and actual tours of Amish in my community to get that information for you.